Every salvo is a step toward victory. The soldiers of the 50th Artillery Brigade of the Western Operational Command have completed combat coordination. Very soon these units will be carrying out missions on the front line, so during their training they once again honed their skills in destroying enemy forces and equipment with the Grad multiple rocket launcher system. The weapon is formidable, so every salvo must hit the target precisely to eliminate as many enemy personnel and equipment as possible. Katerina Kurbanova witnessed how the artillerymen operated.
2 shells fire, 2 shells open fire.
The artillerymen are honing their skills to skillfully strike enemy targets with Grad salvos. Rostislav is also preparing to head out to the positions during combat coordination.
We are removing the camouflage, ready. Everything is loaded and in combat readiness.
Report on operational readiness. For use, you should pick up the pace and increase your speed so that you can get there much faster.
In just a matter of a few minutes, the BM-21 rocket launcher crew needs to be at full combat readiness. Just as quickly after striking the enemy, the position must be abandoned.
Adrenaline, emotions.
Ihor was infantry 2 years. Now he is a Grad driver.
Combat vehicle, top-tier vehicle. 40 rockets in the launcher.
The equipment has been modernized and improved based on the frontline situation. After all, the enemy tries to hunt down this powerful weapon from the sky.
We are preparing to operate in conditions where air superiority will be with the enemy. That is, when various FPV drones, Lancets, and possibly some bombers or air-dropped munitions will be used.
The situation at the front can change quite rapidly, so the fighters must be able to react instantly, accurately target enemy positions, and destroy as many enemy personnel as possible, says the commander. This is exactly what they are being taught, since there are soldiers in the units who are only just gaining this kind of experience.
In situations, let's say, when there's a crisis, when the enemy is advancing, there aren't enough drones and all the frequencies are occupied, they call us in to, well, let's say, hit the enemy hard. Our task, so to speak, is to suppress large concentrations of the enemy so that they no longer want to come here.
This is currently the main role of artillery on the front line. That's why every soldier must clearly know and carry out their task, working together as one coordinated mechanism. This is exactly why the units undergo combat coordination, says the brigade commander.
They must be confident in themselves, knowing that they are capable of carrying out this task. And next, they must be confident in the weapon provided to them to accomplish this task, and accordingly, confident in their comrades with whom they carry out these tasks together.
Some units are currently carrying out missions on various sections of the front, while the 50th Brigade continues to build up its strength.
Artillery serves as one of our primary strike instruments for destroying the enemy, and it plays a crucial role in our operations, especially rocket artillery, which is capable of firing at very long distances. These systems can effectively strike deep into enemy territory to hit reserves, neutralize command posts, and prevent them from successfully preparing for or launching an offensive against us.
After completing combat coordination, they are initiated as artillerymen. The fighters are given chevrons and flame-colored berets as symbols of artillery and the fire with which they mercilessly burn the enemy from their native land.
To deliver a relentless and merciless strike at the enemy, who wants to forcefully seize our land. Take care of yourselves, take care of your comrades.
Very soon, these artillerymen will be striking the enemy army on the front line. Katerina Kurbanova, Pavlo Lisyovnenko, Fact and ICTV United News.
On May 23rd, Ukraine celebrated Marine Corps Day, the day of our defenders of three elements, on land, on water, and in the sky. This date was not chosen by chance. It was on May 23rd, 1918, that Hetman Pavlo Skoropadsky issued a decree to begin forming the 1st Brigade of the Marine Corps of the Ukrainian state. Today, our Marines have taken part in the toughest battles in the south and east of Ukraine, as well as in the operation in Russia's Kursk region. They are currently holding the most difficult sectors on our front. It is my great honor to welcome to our studio the commander of the Unmanned Aerial Systems Company of the 426th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems, 30th Marine Corps, with the call sign RAM. Ram, welcome.
Good afternoon.
But before we begin our conversation today, let us all take a moment to congratulate the brave Marines on this truly significant day. And now we already have a QR code and a card number. And this is a fundraiser for RAM's unit for drone modernization, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Exactly.
Yes. RAM, so if just a few years ago the Marines were primarily associated with assaults and ground combat, today you have drones and ATGMs. You've become so much more technological. What is the role of the Marines today in the war against Russia?
Well, most importantly, the infantry remains here. The infantry is our foundation. So, yes, assaults, holding positions, all of that, of course, well, that's an unchanging component. But yes, NRK, UAVs, BKs, all of that too. It's not something new. It's been developing for a very long time. We've had this for a very long time. In fact, in the Marine Corps, I know for a fact that the first UAV crews actually began appearing as early as around the year 2016 or so. So now, of course, this is continuing to develop more and more.
How has this technological foundation changed you?
Well, personally, it has not changed my life at all. I do.
No, I mean you as a representative of the Marine Corps, as Marines.
This needs to be integrated into operations. Of course, all these technologies need to be integrated into operations. It's no longer like we just sit at a position, the artillery is somewhere over there, we go somewhere, approach, enter, and storm. That almost never happens anymore. Now, interaction with drones is, once again, the primary foundation of any actions. Even just moving out to positions, for example, is monitored by some MAVICs. MAVICs guide and lead the groups. FPV drones cover the approach, NRCs handle logistics, and sometimes they even help repel assaults. BACs, that is unmanned boats, now control the waters and also help us, for example, in the island zone near Kherson. They handle logistics, they mine the straits so that the enemy cannot approach or land. So this is a very important component, and we are constantly working on it.
People often say the Marine Corps is all about character and endurance. You've said that infantry in general is key. What sets you apart? What is the spirit in your corps? What makes you unique, special?
A family spirit. Well, no, I mean, in a way, it's both a joke and not a joke. Because, you know, for example, that operation in Krinky, well, it's both a sad episode and a glorious, renowned one. Because the Marines gathered together and organized what you might call a real event.
Yeah.
We honestly grieve. The Corps grieves for when we were together. It was awesome. It was awesome because, first of all the brigades know each other. Like, guys from different brigades know each other. There's constant interaction. So it's a very, very family-like corporate esprit de corps. You know, that's what it is. The spirit, it is more like there is this profound feeling of having someone right there, always by your side.
It's wonderful.
It's truly wonderful. We really miss those times. When several Marine brigades stand side by side, our interaction is at its best. We all know each other. We go visit one another. That's what we call interaction. Basically, we visit, talk, make arrangements, coordinate joint operations. Like, it's cool. Such interaction exists, of course, within the corps as a whole, but, well, for example, when these are different brigades from different branches of the military, it's not the same. When it's specifically the corps, well, like, that's a completely different story. I mean,
You mentioned Krinky, that operation, and after the battles for the south, after the defense of Mariupol, after Krinky, how has the image of the Ukrainian infantryman changed? Besides the fact that you have such a family spirit?
Well, overall, and this is part of the general process in the armed forces have become more civilian, right? I mean, there used to be a professional, roughly speaking, contract army, which of course suffered losses, both killed and wounded. And in addition, well, mobilization has diluted the armed forces.
With others?
With civilians, yes. Now, in many ways, the approaches are civilian too. It's really management. Commanding there, it's management. You manage people and resources. And that's why, you know, to some extent, this so-called professional sort of European rigidity has disappeared. There's now a more civilian, calmer feeling, but it hasn't affected the professionalism itself. That is in the corps. And in general, they say, like, well, sergeants are the backbone of the army.
Yes.
Basically. This corps that has remained since those early historical periods of the contract-based system. Professional, yes, Marine Corps, it keeps us unified. This really provides our team with an exceptionally high level of training, planning, and task execution.
Your unit is currently in Nikopol. The situation in Nikopol is very intense. The enemy is constantly terrorizing. Your work is both on the front and deep behind enemy lines. Describe your direct battlefield role.
Well, yes, Nikopol. We went in there when the outright terror against the civilian population had already begun. We went there to provide much-needed reinforcements. And our primary task is to neutralize and eliminate the enemy crews that are ruthlessly terrorizing the city. Our mission is to inflict heavy damage on the enemy crews and strike their entire command structure. That is, their officers, their command posts, and of course, their vital logistics and supply lines. That is, to destroy their logistics or make it as difficult as possible so that they can't even deliver their drones to their crews, preventing them from launching them at the civilian population. And that is how it went. Since we first arrived there, well, the results have been, let's say, quite pleasing and positive. So we're disappointed because, frankly, they relaxed there. The enemy has let their guard down and relaxed, and there are dozens of defeats with destruction happening every night.
And how exactly can you tell for sure that he relaxed? Is it by the volume or by what?
Well, because they periodically went out in uniform on the street, so to speak, and close to zero. Well, but there are only defectors. That's it. And of course, that's gone.
Ugh.
They are already tucked away and hiding. They are really, really deeply hidden away.
You're tense, right?
Yes, they got tense. Because God forbid one of them gets out, and then it flies right at them. And at night, they lay down to sleep there and didn't wake up. And they had a warehouse there, for example, with Bliskavkas. Bliskavka is ours, Molnia missiles. And it burned down. Yes, they had their equipment hidden there, and it burned down. That's a daily result. That's a very pleasant result, honestly. Well, I watch the strike videos from my guys, for example, and my heart just sings.
It's nice to hear that. You tell it like a fairy tale.
Thank you.
But despite what you say, that sometimes they would relax. In general, Russians often call our Marines one of the most troublesome opponents for them. Why do you think that is, besides what you just mentioned?
Wherever the Marines show up, well, to be honest, we really are quite a bit inconvenient for them. To illustrate, for example, when a Marine brigade enters, when they take up a defensive position, it's very hard to break through. When the 35th took up positions near Pokrovsk, they couldn't be dislodged for a long time. It is the same for the 37th and 38th. These are really outstanding brigades, in fact, very professional and well-trained units. They are extremely tough to deal with, they fight for every position just on sheer grit. These are truly powerful brigades, and they really are difficult to face. And it's not about some kind of Zhukov-style we never retreat mentality. No, it's about having thorough and effective planning there, and the right approaches to getting things done effectively. Again, in the Marine Corps, they place an incredibly high level of emphasis on the training of, for example, the Sergeant Corps, and sergeants are the backbone of everything. And this, lower level of management, being highly professional, actually makes a huge difference in overall success.
Key.
Yes.
Rama, I know that before the big war you studied abroad, built your career, and in principle you could have stayed there, as many of our compatriots did, right? But you returned home and decided to enlist in the military. Could you share some details regarding that period and how you made that decision?
Well, it was actually very simple. The decision itself was made very easily. Well,
sometimes making a decision isn't that easy either. Wouldn't you agree? But once it's made, that's it.
Yeah, it's just that if you hesitate for too long, of course, making a decision will be difficult. You just have to do it like this, and that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Go.
If I had hesitated for a long time, I would have kept wavering, thinking about staying or maybe having to requalify.
Up to which year did you study and when did you stop?
But honestly, I still had a couple of months left to go, and then I just had my dissertation, and that was it.
So are you planning to finish it after the war?
No. Well, the whole story is that I'll actually have to go back and start over, doing all those 2 years of training again. So what exactly are we talking about?
You won't.
I've better things to do with my life.
So what are your plans for after the war?
Oh, that's a tough question, because right now it's very hard to imagine my life without the Marine Corps. No, really, it's not some kind of ass-kissing or a joke. I've just truly gotten used to this life. It actually makes perfect sense. I understand what I'm doing, but I don't understand why I'm doing it. Of course, once this war finally comes to an end, if some kind of long garrison duty starts up, well, I will completely lose my mind. But if there are still real chances to head back out and fight the enemy...
You will keep doing it.
I will keep doing it.
And we have about a minute left. You went from being a soldier to a company commander. Did it become more difficult when you were responsible not only... It makes it harder?
Well, look, even as a sailor is still responsible for his comrades during a mission, right? And a sergeant is responsible for his squad and for drone operators. It's for the crew. Now, I'm responsible for a bunch of people, yeah. The sense of responsibility has never disappeared. It just grew. There's more of it now. Roughly speaking, I have a child, but I also have like 50 plus more kids in addition.
You mean your staff?
Exactly. I'm responsible for them, which means getting the work done, ensuring their safety, and eliminating the enemy. Of course, I'm constantly worrying and stressing out over there. That's normal.